What's up guys, AG Kisaragi here. What's that? You don't know who that is? Well, that's too bad, cause I'm sure as hell not gonna tell you. He's pretty cool though, I like him. Anyway, welcome to episode 17 of phase 1 of the project Overunner. And in this episode we are finally going to be creating object collisions. It's pretty hard to believe it took me this long to have things in the stage knock you down when you actually hit them. But hey, better late than never, right? So the first thing we are going to do is create our very first collidable object. So I ended up creating this cube right here. As you can see, it has a collider on top, allowing you to walk on top of it, and a trigger to the sides. So if you hit this trigger, it'll knock you down. Some of you might be wondering why I'm using a trigger and not a collider, and the answer is that it's mostly a personal preference thing. I don't really know how we'll explain it properly, so I don't know, I'll just move on. But in all my years of development, I've developed the opinion that if you want something to happen when you collide with something else, triggers always work better for me personally than regular colliders, especially since if the frame rate of the game is on the lower side. So I'm going to now place this cube on my scene. Here it is. So first things first, I'm going to show you what happens when I run and hit this cube right now. As you can see, absolutely nothing happens, and it's been this way for a while, since the start of the game in fact. So it's finally time to shake things up a bit. I want my character to be knocked back when he hits this cube. So to do this, I'm going to be using this animation right here. I didn't create this animation, in fact I didn't create any of the new animations I'm going to be using in this episode, so that means they won't be on Patreon. Hey guys, Future AG here, and I just wanted to make a simple correction to what I just said. Animations, assets and whatnot that I didn't create will still be available on my Patreon, but they will be available on my Patreon's free tier, meaning you will not have to pay anything for them, and there are also there will also be links available to where you can support the original creators of these assets, just so that anyone who wants to follow up the game can properly have the assets that I am using, whether they created it or not. These of course will be my own versions with quite of modifications that I can make of them, but yeah, they will be available on Patreon. So just in case you see an animation that I am using, as long as I didn't create it myself, you can go on my free Patreon and there you will have full access to it. I might create my own variations of these animations in the future, so if I do that, then those animations will be on Patreon. But if you want to download these animations yourself, or just other things in general like assets, UI, character models, props, skyboxes, check out my Patreon. There you can find links to a ton of cool websites where you can get a ton of cool assets. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add this animation to my animation controller and also modify my script to make it function properly. So that's done. Let's test this out and see how it looks. Okay, that looks pretty nice. When I hit the cube, I stumble backwards. That's nice. So the next thing we are going to do now is to make him stand up after he falls down. And to do that, we are going to be using this animation right here. So I'm now going back to my script to implement this animation after I add it to my animation controller. Alright, that's done. Let's toss it out there once more and see how it is. So he hits the cube and yeah, he gets up afterwards and starts running again. Perfect. However, we are not done yet. There is a little feature I would like to implement in the game. Currently, no matter how fast you're going, if you hit the cube, you stumble backwards in the exact same way. However, I'm not a fan of this. I feel it can be better. I feel it doesn't look too good when my character is running at full speed and then hits the obstacle to just slowly stagger backwards. It doesn't look cool. So I want my character to completely fly backwards, like something hit him back with a crazy amount of force. Because technically it would be, but it's going to be exaggerated just a little bit to make it more cool, I guess. So to do this, we are going to be using this animation right here. It's very exaggerated, so it does do a good job showing the impact a wall would have on my player when he runs into it at high speeds. So I'm going to be adding this animation to my animation controller and then modify my scripts to make it work. Alright, so that is done. Let's see how this looks in game. Alright, I'm at high speeds and it works. As you can see, my character flies backwards and into the ground as God intended. Praise the Lord. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and make him stand up after this fall, and to do that I'll be using this other animation. I had to modify this animation quite a lot to make it actually work as intended. So I'm going to go ahead and add this animation to my animation controller and then implement it via my script. Alright, that's done. Now to test this out. Okay, so we are falling and it works, guys. The hit animation officially changes based on the speed of your character's movement. Awesome. But guys, it's not over yet. There is one final thing we need to do. I know this video is very long, probably the longest I've made yet, but we still need to address what will happen when you collide with an object while being airborne. So for this one, I'm going to be using this animation. It's a little bit slow, so I have to increase the speed a bit. Then I'm going to use this animation right here for the impact when you hit the ground. It doesn't look like it would fit, but it's nothing that a little modification cannot solve. So now all that's left to do is add these animations to my animation controller, modify my script to implement them, and finally test them out so we can round up this long video. Alright guys, I'm done modifying my script and animation controller. I'm going to test this out, but before that, let's just move this up a bit. Perfect. Now let's test it out. Alright, it works. Object collisions have now been fully implemented into the game. So that's it for this video, guys, and yes, airborne collisions will be the same no matter what speed you're running at. Like I said before, if you like the new animations I used in this episode and would like to download them yourselves, I have links to multiple websites on my Patreon where you can get not just these animations, but a ton of other animations and useful assets as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and once again, please check out my Patreon if you want to support me, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.